Okay, I come to you today to bring you the dankest weak aura ever made. Right here. Okay, so below it you see a Riptide weak aura. Currently I have 2 stacks of Riptide, so there's a bar in the middle to represent each stack. So if we just ignore the top bar for now. You see, this is the current cooldown Riptide. Press it again, Riptide's on cooldown more. Other important part is tidal wave stacks are shown here. 1 stack is just this, 2 stacks is this. So, say we have no Echo of the Elements, nothing. And we have 1 Riptide, so the bar will show 1 Riptide, but it can store up to 2 full Riptides of tidal waves. So, 1 Riptide of tidal wave. Oh, well, there's a bug here. I'll fix that. There should be a bar here to show when this is going to be ready. And then second full bar. And then when we press ability that consumes it, it consumes it. Easy enough. Then you're like, okay, what happens when we add crashing waves? Okay, crashing waves. Now 1 full Riptide gives you 2, so you'll see when I press this, I get 2. Use 1, use 2. Cool. What about just Echo? Echo is 2 individual ones. Or I can get 2 individual ones, 1 individual one, 2 individual one, and then 2 more Riptide stacks. Use 1. Again, there should be a bar there. Use 2. Good. Easily off. Okay. Then we're gonna do both combined. Split in 2. What you'd expect, except no bar at the end when I'm doing that first destack, which there should be, but I'll add it in. So, and then the final thing is Queen's Ascendance. Currently I don't have it. Now I have it. Queen's Ascendance is shown right here with these blue lines. That means I cast 25% faster. They go away, no Queen Ascendance. And then this goes red when there's 3 seconds left on tidal waves, and they go away. This shit's real fucking complicated. Okay. So we have 4 triggers. Trigger 4 is just tidal waves, remaining time less than 3, and this is just for conditioning so that it's red when it's about to go away. Trigger 3 is Queen Ascendance, and this is just conditioning so that the overlays for the little bars in between change, so you can see when you have Queen Ascendance. Trigger 2. This is a, 1 second. I need to find a song that I've already listened to, because otherwise I can't pay attention. This song. This is purely to prevent buggy action. So what happens in the game actually is when you're casting an ability that consumes a buff, the bar, without this, what the bar would do is the bar would decrease to the amount that the buff had been consumed, and then the buff hasn't been consumed when the ability stops casting, and therefore it would jump back for 1 to 2 frames back to full, and then the buff would be consumed and would jump back to normal. And so you get like this buggy jumping around that this is all to prevent. And I do this by setting locks and offsets, or max offsets, and a complicated lock system based on when auras are applied and when casts succeed and fail, or start and fail. When they fail, it releases. When the debuff, when the buff, tidal waves buff changes, it will release. And when I start a cast, though, it locks, so that until either of those cases happen, it will not move in the opposite direction than it was moving. One part I forgot to show was Chain Heal does work with this. It will just create that bar. Very interesting. Quite useful too. You can see every single spell cast and how it will affect the bar, in a continuous motion. As for the rest of these, trigger 1, most complicated part. Overlay 1 is the green overlay that shows how much tidal waves you have. Overlay 2 through 5 are just overlays that display these bars, these dividers, for either for the cutoffs between tidal wave charges and between tidal wave and riptide charges. And it's riptide's cooldown. And then the duration info contains most of the fancy math. It contains almost no division, because division's cancer for computers. The only division it has is for calculating the time into a cast I am. But basically, I get some information about my talents, about the current buff status of tidal waves, about the what I'm casting. I do some fancy math with that. I get some information on spell charges. I should move this to start. It should be right here. This just gets information on how many charges of Riptide I have active right now. Max will tell me. I don't have to check more than one talent, because Max will tell me if I have Echo. I have to set a lot of these to globals so that the other parts of this program can use them. This just calculates the percentage that the bar should be filled. Then I've offset, which is based on casting. So I'm casting, it creates an offset of where the bar currently is. It's probably a bit complicated. I couldn't combine perk and offset together, but I don't know. I would prefer. I prefer it separate, and I did it separate originally, so I'm not gonna fix that. Global offset. This is the locking mechanism. It will not. Absolute value makes it so either direction goes, either with chain heal increasing or healing wave and healing surge decreasing, and will never mess up the or it will never revert back without me unlocking it with an aura being removed or applied, or manually stopping the cast with interrupt. So either being interrupted or by pressing a stop cast key or moving. Those will interrupt the spell and will unlock it, allowing it to be set back. But otherwise, it has to always go forward. This is in our broadcast, and this is fancy stuff. Yeah. So other than fixing the bar not appearing always, I believe that is the dankest RShammy weak aura. Custom text is just for debugging. Don't actually need it. Yeah, lit shit.